It's your boy Adam, hashtag homeless, day 38. And this one's going to be quick because I've about had it today. My phone's going to die. It's really difficult to keep a phone charged when you're homeless. The library's closed today. And believe me, I just sat here and recorded a video for you guys. And when I went, and I did it with some notes and a note app that I keep. The library yesterday, it was 96 degrees inside the library. It was hotter inside the library than outdoors. And so my hands were just clammy and sweaty and slimy. And every 5 minutes I had to wipe my hands off, my slimy hands off on my jeans. And it was awful. So yeah, I'm sitting here this morning and I record this video and I'm kind of using some notes that I took. And so I switched, I these phones, they multitask. So I moved from the camera app to the note app. And I'm just kind of, skimming through the things that I had written down to talk about. And I come back to the camera app, and the camera app found out that the camera app shuts off. If you navigate away from the camera app, it stops recording. So if I go to look at my note app and come back to the camera will have stopped. As soon as you leave the app, even if it's running in the background, it's no longer recording the video. So I just spent 10, 15 minutes doing a video for you guys that you're never going to see. And I'm never going to see it again because it didn't record. This day sucks. This day sucks right now. And I got to go to the obnoxious coffee shop. I didn't get anything done yesterday. Look at me. I'm sweating like crazy. I don't mind the heat at all. It doesn't bother me. I'm outside. I'm enjoying being outside. There's a nice breeze. It's okay. The heat, I'll go down to Florida and go camping. I took my son camping for 10 to 15 days in July down in Florida, and we were camping in a swamp, camping on the beach with no shade, 90 degrees and up with Florida humidity. And we went inside once. We went to the Tampa Aquarium on our travels and spent, a good part of a day in the Tampa Aquarium, and that was it. That was the only time we were indoors. We went to a few restaurants, but all the restaurants were open air restaurants with no air conditioning. What else did we do? I don't know. We went swimming a lot. We went to one place that was a really cool natural spring with crystal clear water. It was like 30 feet deep, and it was ice cold water. I'm talking the water was probably 45 degrees. Cold. Cold. You could only get in the water for, your body would have to acclimatize to that. 95 degrees out of the water, hot and humid, jump into the water, 45 degrees. So you're just kind of getting back and forth, but it was amazing. We're swimming around with our swim goggles and our snorkels and stuff, and that was really cool to be able to just see all the way to the bottom of this thing, even though it was real hard. I dove down and touched a tree at the bottom, a tree that had fallen into this thing. I dove all the way down, touched it, and swimming back up to the top, it felt like when you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're swimming underwater, and then the music starts getting into like a panic, like dun 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 dun, and everything starts turning red, and you can see the surface of the water, but if you don't make it within the next 3 or 4 seconds, you're done. That's what it felt like trying to swim back up from this tree. But yeah, it was fun. The heat don't bother me, but this it's getting ridiculous. It took me 6 hours yesterday to upload a video to YouTube. And the problems with YouTube, takes, generally, when I upload to TikTok, it takes about an hour to get that video up on TikTok. The same video, you try to upload it to YouTube, and it takes 6 hours. 6 hours of just nonstop bugginess. I had to restart the upload 3 times, and then when it was uploading, it would reach, the status bar would reach 60%. Then all of a sudden it would drop down and say only 20%'s uploaded. And then it would crawl really slow back up to 60, maybe get close to 70%. Then all of a sudden it would turn around and say, no, only 20%'s uploaded. And it would just keep doing that. It would get up to 80%, drop back down to 15, go back up to 90, drop down to 30. And it just kept doing this all day. And then right when I was about to throw in the towel and say, you know what, to hell with it, it finally finished uploading. I don't know how, but the fact that I can upload the same video to TikTok, and as buggy as that TikTok application is, the fact that it shows up on TikTok without any problem in an hour or less tells me that there's some serious issues going on at YouTube, and it's YouTube's problem. Because it shouldn't take 6 hours to upload the same video to YouTube that takes less than an hour to go up to TikTok. And so I don't know what to do about that, but I'm just doing the best I can. I don't know. I'm probably going to end this video within the next 4 minutes. There's really nothing new going on. The stuff I had to talk about today, it can be talked about another day. There's nothing in there that's like time sensitive or, I talked about the library and the sweaty hands and how hot it was. I'm wearing a watch that has a thermometer built in. It's kind of like a survivalist G-Shock watch. And the only reason I wear this particular watch, is because it's solar powered. And so if I wear this watch outside, even on a cloudy day like this, supposedly 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour of just normal wearing the watch outdoors, it charges the battery to where you can go 55 days without having to charge it again. It automatically sets the time based on the time, the national time servers. That there's a national radio broadcast that broadcasts the current time based on the atomic clocks. And there's a lot of clocks that you can buy now for your house, and alarm clocks and things like that automatically set themselves to the right time. They're taking that time out of the radio signal that's broadcast all over the country. And so this watch uses that. So this watch will automatically update if I change time zones, if I do anything like that. It's like I said, it's got a thermometer built in. But in order for it to be accurate, you have to take it off your wrist and set it off to the side. And when I did, it climbed up to 96 degrees. The coolest it got all day in the library yesterday was 83. Indoors, no air, no fans. It was miserable. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't hold my hands over the keyboard for an extended period of time. I don't mind the heat, but that was too much. I can't hold a mouse in my slimy hands. It wasn't good. I had to deal with this back in my old house when I had my own, when I had a separate office outside the house. It was in this little building, and the sun would bake this building and so I had a portable air conditioner that you could just kind of roll around on some wheels, and it would vent through this hose out the window. And so you could kind of position it wherever you want. I could set it so it would blow right at me. But I had to get one of these wall outlets that have, Wi-Fi connectivity, so that during the summer, before I go out to my office, I can hit a button on my phone and it will kick on the AC. And so that it kind of prepares the workspace for an hour or two before I go out there, so that it's not ridiculously hot when I opened the door. And the same thing in the winter. This office could get extremely cold. Because the building was pretty well insulated, but you know, if you're not running the heat 24 hours a day, it would be below. You could put a glass of water somewhere in that office and it would freeze solid if you weren't careful. So once again, I would plug a space heater into that, like one of these oil-filled radiator things on wheels, and I would plug that in to a wall outlet, or to this Wi-Fi enabled wall outlet, and then I could either set a timer, or I could just hit a button on the phone and it would kick on the heat for an hour or two before I go out to the office, and then the office is warm enough to get started. But yeah, I mean, you go to work, if you work in an office and your office is 96 degrees, don't expect your employees to get much done that day. It's one thing to be doing physical labor in a hot environment like that, you know, in a hot kitchen, in a hot anything, you know, you'd be covered in sweat, you'll be, you know, be pouring sweat out your face, your all your clothing's going to be soaked. But it's different when you're sitting in front of a computer and you're just got sweat pouring off of you everywhere and your hands are slimy, and it's like you can't even sit there and type on the keyboard without your entire keyboard becoming just a slimy mess. So I don't know. I'm a little bummed. I gotta play around with this app and see if there's a setting where I can continue filming while I navigate away from the app. That way I could at least write down a few notes and be a little bit more concise and talk about more things on these videos. I had some good stuff queued up for you all, but it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow because I got no desire, no time, no energy to do this again. So with that, I'm gonna let it go. And I hope y'all have a good day, and thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon.